Welcome to this pause and play guide for the Deceivers. We'll start by watching a quick overview video of how the game works, then we'll move on to actionable instructions that you can follow along with. So, with no further ado, welcome to the Deceivers. You've arrived at this old mansion with a group of strangers, lured by the promise of a night filled with thrills and entertainment. But now you're trapped, and one of the guests is a killer. During each night phase, while everyone is sleeping, the detective secretly wakes to view one card from the center of the table. Then they go back to sleep. The killer slaughters a victim, and the thief swaps their card with someone else's card. During each day phase, all guests wake up and collectively decide who to trust, who to accuse, and who to banish.
It's you!
Why do you think it's me? I'm a hotel guest.
But I'm the hotel guest.
Hey!
Are we ready to vote?
Winning the game will depend on your ability to deceive others, uncover the truth, or achieve your own hidden agenda. Before we get started, it's a good idea to get familiar with who the other guests are that are staying at the mansion. There's a detective, a private investigator, a thief, and a bunch of generic hotel guests, all of whom are trying to banish the killer. There's a gang leader who wants to take credit for the kill, so the gang leader is trying to get themselves banished. And finally, there's a killer and a defense lawyer who are both trying to ensure that the killer does not get banished. Now that we understand the different roles, we can head into the pause and play instructions. From now on, whenever you see this pause icon and hear this gong, please pause the video and complete the step before moving on to the next one. Step 1. Game setup. Build your playing deck based on how many players you have. For a 4-player game, you'll need the killer, detective, thief, gang leader, and 3 hotel guests. For 5 players, add the defense lawyer. For 6, add the private investigator to everything previous. And for 7 to 10 players, incrementally add 1 more hotel guest. Step 2. To prepare the night phase audio, scan this QR code or visit thedeceiversgame.com/audio. Do not press play on the audio until you are instructed to do so. The audio is designed to guide you through the night phase while masking any audible nighttime movements. So be sure to turn the volume up high. Step 3. Remove the killer character card from the playing deck, put it to one side, and shuffle the remaining cards in your playing deck. Step 4. Place 3 character cards from the playing deck face down in the center of the table, then place the skull beside them. Step 5. Mix the killer character card into the remaining playing deck and reshuffle. Step 6. Deal 1 card face down to each player. Step 7. Gameplay. All players must now check their card to see what role they have. Place your card back on the table in front of you, face down and near to the 3 center cards. You must not show your card to any other player, and you must not touch your card again until instructed to do so. Step 8. You're about to press play on the night phase audio that you prepared in an earlier step. Press play on the audio to start the night phase and follow the instructions carefully. When the night phase has finished, proceed to Step 9. Step 9. The murdered player, the card with the skull on top, is now out and should remain silent and impartial for the rest of the game. They must not reveal their card until instructed to do so. Step 10. Without looking at your cards, all remaining players should now ask each other questions in an attempt to gather information that will help them win the game. If you're unsure of what to ask, try starting with one of the questions on the screen. Remember, nobody is required to be truthful about anything. You do not have to answer questions addressed to your character. You may wish to stay silent, you may wish to remain anonymous, or you may wish to claim that you're a completely different character. When the majority of players are ready to vote on who should be banished, move on to the next step. Step 11. Prepare for banishment. After the count of 3, i.e., 1, 2, 3, point. Everyone must cast a vote either by pointing at the player they wish to banish or by pointing upwards if they wish to skip banishment. You must stick with your initial choice. In some circumstances, it can be strategically best to point at yourself. Someone must now say aloud, 1, 2, 3, point. This will result in either a split vote or a majority vote. Refer to the booklet for examples of each if you're unsure about the outcome of your vote. If there is a split vote, or if there is a majority vote for skipping banishment, no one is banished. The murdered player must now place the skull back in the center of the table and reveal their card to show which character they were. You must now immediately return to instruction number 7 and resume play from there, keeping in mind that the thief may have swapped your card in the night phase. However, if there is a majority vote for one particular player, that player is banished and must now reveal their card to all of the other players. Step 12. Find the banished player's character in the following banishment procedure table and follow the instructions on how to proceed. If the killer is banished, the hotel guests, detective, thief, and private investigator all win, and the game ends. If the gang leader is banished, they increase their gang's reputation by claiming credit for the kill. The gang leader wins, and the game ends. If the private investigator is banished, they get one final attempt to bring the killer down with them before they are officially out of the game. In such a case, the private investigator must now select a player to be banished with them. The selected player must now reveal their card and follow the banishment procedure for their role. If the defense lawyer, thief, detective, or a hotel guest is banished, they are out of the game and play continues. Step 13. The murdered player must now place the skull back in the center of the table and reveal their card to show which character they were. Step 14. If there are only 2 players remaining, the killer automatically wins, because they would kill the remaining player in the next night phase. If there are more than 2 players remaining, play continues. Head back to Step 7, keeping in mind that the thief may have swapped your card in the night phase. If your character has changed since the last round, you must adopt this new role. If you feel familiar enough with this detailed guide, you may wish to jump to Step 7 in the quick reference guide, which is coming right up.